Hello everyone, this is Nepali sir from ANR Academy. Today I am here with you to discuss about how to analyze the graph of y equal to ax square plus bx plus c where a not equal to 0 depending upon the coefficients small a, small b, small c. And also here we are going to determine the sign of ABC based on the graph of y equal to ax square plus bx plus c. Let us discuss today. We know that suppose y equal to ax square plus bx plus c, a non-zero quantity and the coefficients ABC, suppose they are real values. We know that an expression, second degree expression in terms of x, clearly it indicates a parabolic shape graph. And here the coefficients are small a, small b and small c. Now we are going to analyze the graph of this depending upon the values of small a, small b and small c. Clearly you have a value non-zero real number, so that maybe the value of a positive or maybe the value of a negative, right? Whenever the value of a is positive, if you plot the graph of y equal to ax square plus bx plus c, then you will get U-shaped graph, remember. And when the value of a less than 0, then by plotting the graph, we decide that the graph should be U-shaped but in reverse manner, that is parabola open towards the negative direction of y-axis. In the first case, parabola that open towards the positive direction of y-axis, so that the value of a decides here shape of the graph. Here a decides shape of the parabola, whether the parabola open towards positive y or negative y, that is decided by the value of a. Next, after a, let us discuss about the value of c and then we go for coefficient b. Suppose that c you have, c any real number, maybe the value of c equal to 0 or maybe that is more than 0 or the value of c less than 0. You have y equal to ax square plus bx plus c, a non-zero, remaining b, c, any real values, right? Suppose the value of c, it is equal to 0. Then what happens? If suppose the value of x equal to 0 and the value of y equal to 0, then only the value of c equal to 0 here. Let us see. Suppose the value of y 0 and the value of x 0. If both x and y are zeros, then automatically c become 0. That is the meaning here. Parabola, whether it is of U shape or reverse U shape, depending upon a, clearly c equal to 0 indicates the graph which passes through the point 0, 0. Maybe U-shaped graph passing through origin or in reverse U-shape passing through origin. Such type of graphs we can analyze by the coefficient c. In case the value of c positive, and in the next case the value of C negative, what happens? Observe. Right. Suppose that if you write the value of x equal to 0, then what happens? Observe. In both these two cases, let us suppose y by putting x equal to 0. If suppose the value of x equal to 0, then what is the value of y? Observe. A into 0 square plus b into 0 plus c. That is, the value of y become c here by substituting the value of x equal to 0. Y non-zero quantity but real number in this case, in the second case. That is, here suppose the value of x equal to 0. What happens when x equal to 0? Y become real number other than 0. Maybe c value positive or maybe c value negative. So that suppose the value of c positive. Clearly here the meaning, the curve passing through the point 0 comma c. When you put x0, y value c. So this is the point 0 comma c. The curve, the parabola crosses y-axis at the point 0 comma c when c is positive. Since it is non-zero real number, maybe the value of c negative also. Maybe that crosses in this way. Also this is 0 comma c, but the value of c in that case, that indicates y value, and here in this case c value less than 0. And here the value of c more than 0. And the shape of the graph, that depends upon coefficient a. That is, here the coefficient c, which is belongs to R, that decides y-intercept. If the value of c equal to 0, y-intercept 0. If the value of c positive, then y-intersection, that should be positive. If c value less than 0, y coordinate, that is y-intersection, that should be negative whenever the value of c less than 0. So c decides whether the graph crosses y-axis with positive y coordinate or with negative y coordinate, that decides here. Let us move to the next coefficient b. Before going to discuss about the coefficient b, first I am going to discuss about the vertex first, and then we go for coefficient of b. Suppose this is the parabola. It is y equal to ax square plus bx plus c, and the condition a not equal to 0, b comma c real values. This is vertex v, and at vertex, if you draw a tangent, then the tangent is clearly parallel to x-axis. Vertex here, it is parallel to x-axis. When the line is parallel to x-axis, then its slope become 0. Therefore here slope of tangent, I am writing 0. Slope of tangent at vertex, that should be 0. Slope m 0, that is dy by dx equal to 0 in this case. Now this is the value of y, right? So d by dx of ax square plus bx plus c, that is 0. On differentiation we get 2ax plus b equal to 0, implies x coordinate become minus b by 2a. So the vertex whose x coordinate clearly Vx, that is minus b by 2a, and if you substitute the value of x equal to minus b by 2a in the given function, then we get Vy, that is y coordinate of the vertex, that become minus delta divided by 4a, or you may write 4ac minus b square divided by 4a. This is the coordinate of y. Next, see here, let us discuss about coefficient b. B is also real number. Vertex whose x coordinate minus b by 2a. Suppose that graph is of u shape, then we know that the value of a positive, and the graph of reverse u shape, then the value of a less than 0. Here the value of Vx become minus b, as it is I am writing 2 positive quantity, a positive quantity. Next, in the second case, numerator b as it is 2 positive, a negative, here a less than 0 we have, and from this I can say that plus into minus gives negative b. So minus b vertex, suppose that if the graph is, both the graphs entirely right side of y-axis, when the graph is entirely right side of y-axis, Vx is positive. Here also both the graphs entirely right side of y-axis, therefore x coordinate in the first case and in the second case both become more than 0, and hence I can write the value of b more than 0, and here minus into minus plus sign, this is minus b more than 0 implies b less than 0. Next, here plus sign b more than 0. So b become positive in this case, and in this case b become negative. So whether b positive or negative, then it is very clear that it decides the position of vertex, whether it is entirely right side of y-axis or whether it is left side of y-axis. For example, if suppose vertex is entirely left side of y-axis, its x coordinate clearly negative, x coordinate of this negative, right? Minus b by 2a, it is negative. U-shaped graph, denominator part positive, both 2 positive, a positive, minus b less than 0 implies I can say the value of b more than 0. Minus b less than 0 means b more than 0. So b decides the position of vertex, whether the parabola whose vertex is entirely right side of y or left side of y, that decides b here. And next, d. D is nothing but discriminant delta b square minus 4ac. We know that discriminant, suppose if it is positive, if delta more than 0, or maybe it is equal to 0, or maybe it is less than 0. If delta more than 0, then it has two different roots, nothing but it intersects, parabola intersects x-axis at two different points. When delta equal to 0, the graph touches y-axis. When delta less than 0, the curve far away from x-axis. So delta decides nature of the roots. It decides nature of the roots. This is about small a, small b, small c and small d. And in the previous case, suppose that the value of b equal to 0. What happens? Two cases discussed, b positive, b negative. In case b equal to 0. In case b equal to 0, automatically substituting in this, vertex whose x coordinate become 0. That is, x coordinate 0 means here, x coordinate 0. So the graph may be U shape or reverse U shape. X coordinate should be 0. Maybe you will get this type also, or this type. For these two whose x coordinate clearly 0, such type of graphs exist when b equal to 0. Let us discuss an example. Suppose that y equal to ax square plus bx plus c, a not equal to 0, b comma c they are real, and suppose that it represents the graph a parabolic shape, intersection is origin. What about the sign of ABC in this diagram? Let us discuss now. We know that small a that decides shape of the graph, whether it is U shape or reverse U shape, that decides small a, and small b, position of vertex. Next, small c, that is y-intercept. Next, d are discriminant delta b square minus 4ac, that represents nature of roots. Small a, shape of the graph, small b, position of vertex, small c, y-intercept, and small d, nature of roots. Here, given graph is of U shape, so that U shape graph for which the sign of a should be positive. Next, it has two different roots. One is negative and the other positive. When it has two different roots, nature of roots, b square minus 4ac more than 0, and hence discriminant delta or d, that is greater than 0, positive. Next, y-intercept. Y-intercept clearly negative, so that sign of c, that is less than 0 in this case. Next, b. By the position of vertex, we can decide b whether it is positive or negative. Vertex clearly whose x coordinate is minus b by 2a minus, here vertex whose x coordinate clearly x coordinate positive but y coordinate negative. X coordinate positive, vx is more than 0 in this case, minus b divided by 2 positive, also a positive. So this is minus b more than 0 implies b is less than 0, so that b value less than 0. So you can determine the sign of small a, small b, small c and discriminant by seeing the given graph of y equal to ax square plus bx plus c in this way. Just you have to remember A that indicates shape of the graph, B that indicates position of vertex, and C also here it depends upon the value of A also. Next C that is depending upon y-intercept and discriminant nature of roots. Let us discuss another example. Here in this case the graph is given. Here we are going to determine the sign of ABCD. Next, if suppose the sign of ABCD are given, then you have to draw the graph. Let us discuss next. Suppose that A is less than 0, B is more than 0 and C less than 0, discriminant delta more than 0. Then draw the graph of y equal to ax square plus bx plus c. This is the question. A non-zero, B C real. A non-zero real, B C any real number. So this is the question. We know that A decides the shape of the graph. Due to negative quantity, it is of reverse U shape. Next, C less than 0, that is y-intercept must be negative, remember. Y-intercept less than 0. Discriminant more than 0, that means it has two different roots. Next, B value more than 0. That is the position of the vertex decided by this. Position of vertex and vertex x coordinate minus b divided by 2a. Minus sign already is there. B more than 0, positive in the numerator, 2 positive, a less than 0, that is negative. So minus into plus minus, plus into minus minus, finally it gives positive result. So Vx should be more than 0. X coordinate should be positive. X coordinate should be positive, that means vertex should be entirely right side of y-axis. In this side vertex exists. So now draw the graph of y equal to ax square plus bx plus c. It is decided that reverse U shape, vertex should be right side of y-axis and y-intercept should be negative with two different roots. Y-intercept negative, suppose somewhere here y-intercept c, that is negative, with two different roots, positive x coordinate to the vertex and reverse of U shape. You will get the graph in this way. Clearly C less than 0. Since it is of reverse U shape, A less than 0. A less than 0 over C less than 0 over. Next, it has two different roots, delta greater than 0. Yes, suppose the roots are alpha comma beta. Next, B more than 0. Yes, B value more than 0. Here vertex is of entirely right side of y-axis. So vertex whose x coordinate clearly right side. This is about the graph, and in case of vertex you have to remember these 2 points. Let us discuss them. Suppose that the graph is of U shape and whose vertex is entirely left side of y-axis. Another case, reverse of U shape and whose x coordinate is entirely right side of y-axis. Here in this case, the values of A and B, you have to remember that when the graph whose x coordinate is entirely left side of y-axis, remember that A clearly more than 0 in this case. B also positive, remember. Next, A less than 0 due to reverse of U shape. B also less than 0. When the graph is entirely left side, for left vertex, left side, Vx negative. The meaning here, if Vx is negative, for both AB, same symbols. When Vx is negative, A comma B are of same sign, remember. Next, suppose that the graph is of U shape, but the vertex whose x coordinate is positive. Suppose reverse of U shape, vertex whose x coordinate positive. In this case, if Vx is positive, when Vx is positive, A comma B are of opposite sign, remember. Here A positive, B negative. Here A negative, B positive. When Vx is more than 0, A comma B are of opposite sign. That you have to remember. Let us discuss the points. U shape so that A more than 0, vertex less than 0, minus B by 2A less than 0, A already positive, so this is entirely positive. So this is clearly minus B less than 0, nothing but B positive. Next here, since reverse of U, A less than 0, vertex less than 0, minus B by 2A less than 0, since A is less than 0, 2A is negative, so minus into minus plus, so B also negative. So both are of same sign in this case. Next, here vertex more than 0, minus B by 2A more than 0, U shape so that A positive, so it is minus B more than 0, nothing but B less than 0. So they are of opposite sign, remember. Next here, the same vertex minus B by 2A, since it is more than 0, actually A less than 0 due to reverse of U shape. So minus into minus plus B implies B positive. So that whenever the parabola whose vertex is entirely, whose x coordinate is entirely left side of y-axis, both A comma B are of same sign, remember. When the vertex of parabola whose x coordinate particularly more than 0, then A comma B are of opposite sign, remember. This is about the determination of sign of small a, small b, small c in the graph of y equal to ax square plus bx plus c, and also by seeing the graph you can analyze the sign of ABC as well as by the sign of ABC you can analyze the graph.